The Trump administration imposing major new travel restrictions on U.S. citizens traveling to Cuba.
We are now getting some reaction to those brand new restrictions out there. Local 10's Hatzel Vela is live for us. He's in Fort Lauderdale at the Hollywood Fort Lauderdale International Airport with the very latest.
Chrissy, Calvin, I'm talking about two restrictions that will likely have a huge impact on American travel. Folks who were thinking about going to Cuba will no longer be able to do so. But this will also have an effect on the airline industry, the cruise ship industry, and of course, the Cuban economy. In Cuba, it is the private sector that will bear the brunt of the new travel regulations. Local 10 in Havana talks to a private restaurant owner. He says it directly affects him because his restaurant is close to where the cruise ships unload. The new policy says no more people-to-people travel, the category most commonly used by Americans to travel to Cuba. And it looks like cruises to Cuba could come to a complete halt. According to Cuban government figures, up until May of this year, more than 250,000 Americans visited Cuba. More than half used cruise ships. Airlines will also be greatly affected. American visitors here and in Havana are not in favor of the regulations.
I think it's rather silly restriction by an administration that is doing things for political reasons.
Cuba's Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez says, "I strongly reject new sanctions which further restrict U.S. citizens' travel to Cuba, aimed at suffocating the economy and harming the living standards of Cubans in order to forcefully obtain political concessions. Once again," he says, "they will fail." Ask Senator Marco Rubio, known to have the president's ear when it comes to Cuba policy, and he says the administration is keeping U.S. dollars out of the pocket of the oppressive Cuban military and its subsidiaries as the Cuban regime continues to export its destructive communist agenda throughout our hemisphere. And it's important to note that if you have already planned a trip, if you have your airline ticket, if you have your hotel accommodations ready to go, these new regulations will allow you to be grandfathered into it. What we're not sure of at this point is what will happen to cruise ships. It's been talked about the cruise ships may start being canceled starting tonight, but we're still waiting for more information. For now, reporting live at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, I'm Hatzel Vela, Local 10 News.